All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into this absolutely incredible true story. We're talking about 5 lion brothers, guys who fought, who survived, and who eventually came to rule the plains of Kenya's Masai Mara. This is a story about exile, a really fragile alliance, and just the raw, brutal path to power.
Everything really kicks off with this number right here. 5. 5 brothers, all born together into the Black Rock's pride.
For a little while, life was pretty good for them, carefree. But in the unforgiving world of lions, that kind of peace was never, ever going to last. They were on a collision course with a brutal journey, from being princes to being outcasts, and then, finally, to becoming kings. So before they could even think about ruling, they had to survive getting kicked out. It's a really harsh rule of lion life. When the new cubs are born, the older adolescent males get driven away from the only home they've ever known. Just like that, their life as royalty was completely over.
I mean, the timeline of their early struggle is just brutal. After 2 pretty idyllic years, bam, they were exiled. And the split from their family, it became permanent in the most tragic way possible. One of the brothers, in a moment of aggression, actually killed his own sister. That was it. The split was final, forcing the males to go off for good and start this desperate nomadic existence. The real turning point for them, it wasn't some glorious hunt they won. Nope, it was a meal they stole, learning how to take a buffalo carcass from a whole clan of hyenas. A really harsh lesson, but maybe the most valuable one they ever learned.
Out on their own, they were failing big time. They couldn't hunt large prey, so they had to resort to stealing from older, stronger lions. It was a super dangerous game that left one of the brothers with a torn ear, a permanent scar from those desperate early days.
But all these trials, they didn't break them. They actually forged them. Hunger and hardship, it turned them into this seriously formidable coalition. By March of 2021, these guys were now 4 years old and so impressive that the local Maasai observers had actually given them names.
Okay, so let's meet the cast of characters here, because each brother had a totally distinct personality that would really define his role in the fights to come. You had Olibor, the aggressive leader. Then there was Olpadon, the confident hunter. Lomaniak, the one with the limp who tried to avoid conflict. Okoye, he was the follower. And finally Olashan, the cautious one who always kind of hung back.
And while, they were a group of 5, let's be real. The fate of the entire brotherhood really rested on the strength and the ambition of its 2 alpha males. That's Olibor, the leader, and Olpadon, the hunter.
Right as they were hitting their prime, something just completely astonishing happened. A kind of family reunion that basically broke all the known rules of lion society.
Their own mothers, who had also been exiled from their territory by a rival pride, actually sought out their now powerful sons for protection. And they didn't come alone. They brought 5 new young cubs with them. Suddenly you have this massive, unheard-of super pride of 13 lions.
But, don't picture some happy family reunion here. This was not that. It was a super fragile alliance built completely on convenience. And this is where you see a really brutal truth about lion society. See, because the brothers weren't the fathers of these new cubs, they had absolutely zero biological instinct to protect them. None. So this wasn't a real pride. It was more like a powder keg, just waiting for a spark to set it off.
But for a little while, it actually worked. This new, bigger group now had the numbers, the power, and frankly, the audacity to take on the most dangerous and difficult prey in the entire Masai Mara.
Their first huge test came in the form of a massive hippopotamus that got caught wandering away from its waterhole. To these young brothers, it must have looked like a gift-wrapped meal, right?
Well, it turned into an epic 6-hour standoff. It was just this grueling battle of the lion's numbers against the hippo's raw power and its sheer unbelievable endurance.
The dynamic of this fight was incredible to see. The hippo was basically a tank, weighing 6 times more than a single lion. But the lions, they were like a relentless swarm, taking turns attacking and resting, just constantly wearing the big guy down. After 6 exhausting hours, both sides just gave up. It was a hard-fought draw.
So, with the hippo unconquered, the super pride turned its attention to a more reliable but no less dangerous food source, the massive herds of Cape buffalo. Now, hunting buffalo isn't just about taking on one powerful animal. It's about attacking a highly organized community. Where the lions were just a loose coalition, the buffalo are a family, a tight-knit group with this all-for-one defensive strategy. and they will ferociously defend their own. Through a lot of trial and error, they eventually developed a successful strategy. It took immense patience. They'd follow the herd, sometimes for days, to identify the weakest link, like one aging bull who just couldn't keep up. Then they'd strike with overwhelming force to finish the kill before the rest of the herd could even respond.
A successful buffalo hunt was a huge prize, with more than enough food for everyone. This temporary peace settled over the super pride. The generosity was real, but that quote holds the key. For now. This peace definitely had an expiration date.
And that peace, and really the entire alliance, was about to completely shatter.
The breaking point came after a really tough hunt that resulted in a tiny meal, just a single buffalo calf for 13 hungry lions. Olibor, the leader, just exploded with aggression. He refused to share the meager prize.
For the lionesses, this was the absolute last straw. They realized that staying with their powerful, aggressive sons offered them no security, only danger for their new cubs. And just like that, the great, unprecedented alliance was over as quickly as it had begun. The mothers took their young and simply walked away.
And so, the 5 brothers were on their own again. But here's the thing. They weren't those same desperate, scared exiles anymore. Not at all. Now, they were a proven, battle-hardened force. I mean, they had survived everything the Mara could possibly throw at them. So really, there was only one question left. Now that they were finally ready, could they go out and actually conquer a kingdom of their own?